So in this video, I'm going to run you through how to use Authy, which is a two-factor authentication application that you can use on your phone or your computer. And I would recommend using it instead of Google Authenticator, just because it's got the ability to back up all of your two-factor authentication codes, and it also has multi-device, so you can actually have multiple devices hooked up to your two-factor authentication code. So two-factor authentication is very important because if someone grabs your username and password to a site, if you have 2FA enabled, then they'll also need a 6-digit code that comes from your 2FA application, in this case Authy. If they don't have that code, then they won't be able to access your account. So it is very important. I would recommend enabling it on any accounts that you have any funds, any money associated with. So 100% recommend doing that at all times. So in terms of the application, the one that I recommend is Authy by Twilio, and this is the website here. You can install it on your computer, but I do recommend keeping your 2FA code somewhere else than where you're using your crypto. So if someone does hack your PC and they get access to username and password, you don't want them to get access to your two-factor authentication codes as well, otherwise it defeats the purpose. So hence, I strongly recommend that you do install it on your phone. And so this is the 2FA application Authy here, just on the Google App Store. So you can go ahead and install that on your phone. And when you go to create an account, it'll just ask you to put a mobile number in, and you'll go ahead and create the account. It should be pretty easy. I'm not going to go through it here because I've already got mine installed. But basically, when you do install it and open it up, yours will look empty. Mine's got a whole bunch of codes in there already. However, yours will look empty. There won't be anything in there to start with. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to run you through creating a two-factor authentication code or enabling it on a platform. So I'm going to do that on Easy Crypto, and so usually you'll do that within the web application. So in this case, I'm going to go to Account. I'm going to go to option that says Enable Two-Factor Authentication. So they'll all have a very similar process to this. So I click to enable that, and usually it'll give you either a long code or a QR code. And the QR code is probably the easiest way to do it. You don't need to necessarily store this code because you'll scan the QR code, you'll effectively store that code in Authy and back that up for you if you've enabled backups. Just before we go ahead and do this with enabling backups, if you just click the three dots and go to settings once you're in there, and then you can go to accounts, and then you just enable backups at the top. Okay, you enable backups, and then it'll ask you to enter your password in. You'll enable it, set a password, and then that's going to back that up for you. And you can also, other devices, you can allow multiple devices. So I've got a couple devices there that have access to my 2FA codes. Okay, otherwise, if you go back, most of what you're going to do is just on the main screen. When you're ready to add a new two-factor authentication code, you simply click the three dots at the top and click Add Account, and you'll get something like that, and it's going to ask you whether you want to scan a QR code or enter a code. So in this case, I'm going to scan QR code, and all you do is you point your camera at that code, and it'll actually load that in. Sometimes it'll ask you to search like what application you're actually installing, otherwise it might pick it up. In this case, I'm going to search for Easy Crypto. It usually just gives you a logo for it. Is that easy? Yeah, so then I've typed in Easy Crypto and it's found that logo. So then you click Continue, you give it a name, right, whatever you want to call it. In this case, I'll just leave it as Easy Crypto. And then you hit save, and then that basically now adds that to your Authy application. Now, to enable on the website, you typically need to also enter the code in here as well. So whatever the code is, and you can see there that the code that's currently there is 018598. You can see it's got a timer. So typically the timer will only go for about 30 seconds or so. So they normally just wait for another one to come through. And okay, here we go, 974126. So we can come back into this application and type 974126 and confirm. And that will now enable 2FA. So now if I do go to sign out. Okay, so when you go to sign back in now, so if we click to put our username and password back in and sign in, it'll now ask you for a two-factor authentication code when you're logging in, and this is the double security step, right? So I can look at my phone now, I can see that actually it's going to go to a new one. Just pop this back. So So we can see there that it's 579172, 579172, submit, and now it's going to log me into that application. And that's it. That's basically all there is to two-factor authentication. It's pretty easy, it's pretty simple to use, but incredibly important. Thank you.